Today is our So Long Farewell. This is a service we started a couple years ago. This is a traditional time of year to honor those who have passed, to honor our ancestors, to honor the people that are on our hearts. And the best way we know to do that is to share the stories and share our love of them with each other. So that's what today is. Today is everybody sharing their stories of the people they love and helping us to celebrate their spirit together. We also are going to have a portion of the ritual where you're going to see paper here in the back and the front. You can write on that paper. It is water-soluble paper, so you're going to write on that paper, and then we're going to put it in the bowl up here with the little pie tin in it, and we're going to mix it up, and the water dissolves the message to your loved one, and then we put it in our memorial garden. So it's a beautiful symbolic way to share our messages of love with those that we love. We will now light our chalice. Our chalice lighting is the All Souls Chalice Lighting by Florence Caplow. As we kindle this flame, we honor and remember those who have passed into the mystery. Their brightness lives on in our vision, their courage lives on in our commitments, and their love continues to bless the world through us.
United by Story and Bound by Love by Andrea Hawkins Camper. Gather we now into this space, this time when the wheel turns and the veil shatters. Gather we now to remember, to grieve, to prophesy, to complete our harvest before the long dark comes. Gather we now to tell the old stories and sing the old songs. To be as we have always been, the voice of our people eternal. Gather we now to celebrate that which was, that which is, and that which will be. Gather we now, as we have always done, united by story and bound by love.
Let's all take a deep breath in and out. And all that stress and all that anxiety and everything that's holding you, just release it. Just feel it melt away. And breathe. Our words today come from Shannon Adler. Carve your name on hearts and not tombstones. A legacy is etched in the minds of others and the stories they share about you.
Spirit of life, come unto me. Sing in my heart all the stirrings of compassion. Blow in the wind, rise in the sea, move in the hand, giving life the shape of justice. Roots hold me close, wings set me free. Spirit of life, come to me, come to me.
This is our So Long Farewell service. This will be a service where all of you will be sharing some of the stories and the memories of those we've lost, but are always in our hearts. We're going to begin with a prayer, a Samhain ancestors' prayer. This is the night when the gateway between our worlds and the spirit world is thinnest. Tonight is a night to call out those who came before. Tonight I honor my ancestors, spirits of my fathers and mothers. I call to you and welcome you to join me for this night. You watch over me always, protecting and guiding me, and tonight I thank you. Your blood runs in my veins, your spirit in my heart, and your memories are in my soul. With the gift of remembrance, I remember all of you. You are dead but never forgotten, and you live on within me and within those who are yet to come. So during this portion, I'm going to invite anybody who wants to come up and share a little bit about those that we have lost. Any of the stories, because stories are the ways that we remember people. That's how we keep them in our hearts and keep them alive. I have a couple of the obituaries up here of our more recent loved ones, Flo and Bill and Melissa. And I have a couple legacy pictures up here. This is actually our obituary book, if you didn't know. This is the book where we keep all the obituaries of our long-standing community. Like I said, we've been here since 1956, so we have a long history of wonderful people. That's what that plaque behind me is as well. It's a lot of our founders. I brought this out. Some of you may remember hearing about John Loudon, one of our founders. This was taken. That hangs up there usually in the front area. This is beloved Reverend Bobby Kilgore's ordination. Want to make sure she was up here. This I always think is the coolest thing we have. This is a picture. Here, I'll show it to the camera. I'll show you guys too. If you can see that. This is, you'll see the quilt in the background. These are the wonderful women of UUCB that made that beautiful quilt that's up there, the tapestry. So you can, if you want to pass it around, check that out. Those are, and on the back, I believe it has the names as well. So I wanted to share some of our legacy. We also have our legacy water here. And I'll go ahead and pour some of that in a little later. What we're going to do, first we're going to share stories and memories of all of those. I'll tell you one of my favorite things. This kind of happened organically. I don't know how it started, but it just kind of happened. That in the back of our sanctuary is a banner that says Spirit. And people started taking the name tags of those who have passed. And they put it on there. And it just kept going. And I just think that's a beautiful, like, little loving eternal tribute over there, just to have the name tags of all of those we love back there. So I thank you, whoever started that, and all of those who continue it. I think it's beautiful. Thank you all for sharing. This is how we remember each other. And this is how we keep each other alive in our thoughts and our hearts. I'm going to invite anyone who would like to come up. There's paper at the very back, and there's paper at the front. And you can write a message on there. I'm going to... They Are Still With Us by Kathleen Mateague. In the struggle we choose for ourselves, in the ways we move forward in our lives and bring our world forward with us, it is right to remember the name of those who gave us strength. In this choice of living, it is right to name the power of hard lives well lived. We share a history with those lives, those who lived before us, who struggled for justice, who suffered injustice before us, have not melted into the dust and have not disappeared. They are with us still. The lives they lived hold us steady. Their words remind us and call us back to ourselves. Their courage and love evoke our own. We, the living, carry them with us. We are their voices, their hands, and their hearts, and we take them with us. And with them, choose the deeper path of living. We belong to the same motion. They too were strengthened by what had gone before. They too were drawn by the vision of what might come to be. And as always, we need to end with some good times with Al Brenner.
when sorrows overwhelm you and your body starts to fold beneath the burdens of the world upon your shoulder, when you think you're being cool and you're only getting cold, being wise when you're only getting older, when you've tried the easy answers and they're not easy anymore, and you're wearied of the dancers making circles on the floor, when with every step you take you hope to make it your last mile, remember then, my friend, that the good times make it all worthwhile. Oh, the good times make it all worthwhile. Jesus wasn't talking about your style. Cleopatra sailing down the Nile said the good times make it all worthwhile. When you're in the hall of mirrors, where all reflections are your own, and you find your only fear is of dying all alone. Well, we're all in this together. Nobody told us why. We're birds of a feather, we ought to fly. And if you wonder what you'd tell the jury if you had to stand on trial, you just look them in the eye and tell them that the good times make it all worthwhile. Oh, the good times make it all worthwhile. Jesus wasn't talking about your style. Cleopatra sailing down the Nile said the good times make it all worthwhile. Now when this song is over and it's time for me to go, there's just one more thing I'd like for you to know. If you're looking for an answer, there's nothing I can say. We live this thing we call a life, and then we fade away. But when you're breathing your last breath, my friend, breathe it with a smile. And remember what old Brother Al told you, how the good times make it all worthwhile. Oh, the good times make it all worthwhile. Jesus wasn't talking about your style. Cleopatra sailing down the Nile said the good times make it all worthwhile.
Our closing words today are This Sacred Thread by Heather K. Januels. They once dwelled among us, the people of memory, those who knew us, they who taught us, those who heard us, they who loved us. They touch our lives time and again, through their presence and their absence, through familiar scents and favorite songs, through old stories and renewed sorrow. As the earth turns and leaves fall, we reach back to renew the bonds between us. With our hearts and hands open, we hold on to love, ever stronger than death. We reach back in gratitude and understanding. Without our time together, the pain and the joy, we would never be who we are today. We would have little to pass on ourselves. Without fear and with thanksgiving and with hope for all that awaits, we remember those who have gone before, and we honor the circle of life and of death and our place within this sacred thread. We will now extinguish our chalice. It is More Than One Life by Lee Hubert. Lighting a candle is somewhat like the beginning of life. That is true. Then perhaps extinguishing a candle is like the ending of life. But death may not be the end of us. We live on in the memories of friends and loved ones, and the influence we possess in life works on. Moving persons or causes forward. Let us not forget that most candles have more than one life. So perhaps, may we.